Who's ready for the next 4 hours of learning BrokerBay? So my name is Costa. I'm actually the CEO and co-founder of BrokerBay. And I want to start off on the note that everything that I'm going to show you actually stems from the 12 years that I've sold real estate full time. So I used to be a broker for 12 years. And in the time that I was at various brokerages and using the software that they were using, I was very disappointed with companies like Wolf Connect, Quick Office, and the companies that you've been familiar with if you've been in the business for quite some time. So, long story short, we've only been around for 2 years, but we've grown from 200 agents using our platform to 18,000 just in the GTA. So we're the new big provider of brokerage software, and I hope that you're going to like what we're going to show you today. Okay, so BrokerBay does many different things, and we're going to try to go through all of them. I don't want to keep you for too long today, but the big thing that we now do for many brokerages is we take over how appointments get booked on your listings. This here is how every appointment has been booked in the city of Toronto for 30 years. You're going to be very familiar with it, and it goes like this. When you have a listing, the showing agent typically calls your office and they say, I'd like to book an appointment. Does that sound familiar? Yes. Your office, they take that appointment and they used to put it in their appointment software, which was Wolf Connect. And when they go on to process that appointment, in a lot of instances, they find out that they have to actually call your sellers or communicate with the tenants to find out if it's okay for this person to see the property. Does that sound familiar? So the phone call comes in, and then there's some other manual communications to your listing contacts. Once they give the okay, the only way that your office is safely and effectively delivering the lockbox instructions or the confirmation details is your office then calls the co-op brokerage. Does that sound familiar? And then the co-op brokerage emails their own agent with the instructions. Yes? Yes. Does that sound normal? Yes. It's friggin' absolutely ridiculous. This is a ridiculous process. So, in real estate, there are many ridiculous processes that we're starting to uncover, and we're starting to find out that it's these processes that are making our industry look archaic. It's making us look like we don't know what we're doing or we're not staying in line with the times. This process is about 3 million phone calls a year in Toronto just to confirm appointments. And it happens for two very important reasons, but we're going to get to that in a second. The first thing I'd like to say is, how is it that Airbnb can essentially book 100 million stays at people's houses? So essentially what we do in real estate, allowing other people to enter other people's homes, but they don't make any phone calls. So there's obviously, they're using technology to enhance the process of allowing people in people's homes. Now, the reason we've been doing this for 30 years is very simple. When this person, the co-op agent, when they call you, or when they call your office and they say, hi, my name's Costa, you have no idea if they are actually Costa. There's no way to know who that person is. So the first reason why we call the co-op brokerage to give them the confirmation is for safety and security. We don't want to allow criminals into your listings. That's the first reason. Okay, let's say we knew who Costa was and Costa calls our office, and we want to email Costa directly. The reason why we don't email Costa directly is because when you email thousands of people every month with confirmations, the nature of email says that a certain percentage of those communications will not reach their destination. Some are going to end up in junk, spam, the person's inbox might be full. There's so many reasons why they won't reach the destination. So to ensure safety and deliverability, and because commissions are so high and we want to make sure that the process is being done perfectly, we've been calling the other brokerage for 30 years. Great. BrokerBay is the first company in North America that has solved both of those distinct issues. We will guarantee safety on your appointments, and we will guarantee that every confirmation reaches the showing agent. And because we're the only company in North America that does this, we're the only company that can actually fully automate the entire appointment process on your listings. And that may or may not sound exciting for you, but it should be. And the reason is that confirmations on your listings are on average going to be processed 3 times faster, which in practice means that buyers will find out that they can enter your property much faster now. You're going to have a lot more control as to how your listings are managed, and I'm going to show you that briefly today if you ever want to get involved in your listings. And the experience for your sellers, for your tenants, for everyone involved in your listing, it's going to improve. So when people deal with you, they're going to have a better experience than if they were to deal with other agents who are not a part of BrokerBay, which we'll also talk about. Okay, so all of this fancy technology, and it's all very simple. Who here has a listing right now? When you're getting your communications regarding appointments, when your sellers are getting communications regarding their appointments, you're going to start to notice two distinct buttons, accept and deny. And it's a very simple concept. When your seller gets a new booking email or a text message now, they have the ability to simply accept it. And that confirmation will be generated and delivered directly to the showing agent. Very simple. If you have a tenanted property and the tenant is malicious and you think they're going to deny every appointment, you can turn that button off. So it's up to you now for each one of your listings how you want your listing contacts to be able to engage with the notifications they're getting from our system. All of your listing contacts and you as the listing agent are now going to get access to a dashboard for each one of your listings where your sellers can see all of the appointments booked on their listing, where they can confirm all of them or deny all of them based on the permissions that you've allowed them to have. Does that make sense? Great. Okay, so the best part about BrokerBay, the best part about why you don't need a laptop today or a cell phone or anything, is that BrokerBay is going to work with or without your participation. Your front desk will manage all of these processes for you. But if you are like me, and you are a micromanager, and you like to get involved with your listings, and you like to make sure everything's perfect, it's important that you know how to log in to actually help out when you want to help out. So the way that we get to BrokerBay is by going to excel.brokerbay.ca. Don't worry about going there right now, we're going to go through this. We do not put www in front of it. It's just excel.brokerbay.ca, and we're going to use either Google Chrome or Safari. Who here has heard of Internet Explorer? Who here uses Internet Explorer? Stop using Internet Explorer. No one uses Internet Explorer anymore. There's definitely one or two of you here. Please stop. Your username is going to be your email address that you're getting your emails to from the system. And we'll talk about how to curate those in a minute. Your password is already set to your TRED member number, the 7 digits when you first log into TRED. I'm going to show you how to change your password to something more secure once you log in. Okay, so let's go to your platform.
And for those of you here, your email that we have input is your first name dot last name at remaxexcel.com. And you can change that later. Okay, just for ease of
first name dot last name.
Yeah.
So when you first log into the platform, you're met with a page that is called My Brokerage Listings. And it's very simple. The idea behind My Brokerage Listings is that as a brokerage grows past 50, 60, 70 agents, the amount of information that you all start to have, it becomes so large that it's hard to share it with each other in a meaningful way. So the best way to understand what BrokerBay is at the highest level is this is the new internal MLS system for just your brokerage. So if you want to sign into the system and see all of the MLS listings very quickly, or maybe see all of the exclusive listings very quickly, or assignment sales, or coming soon to MLS listings, you can now search for the information in your brokerage like a very efficient MLS system just for your organization. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. If you want to get your exclusive listings on the platform, and this is something that we're going to talk about strategy now, to get your exclusive listings onto BrokerBay, all you have to do is take your paperwork, your listing agreement, and hand it into your office, and they will add it to your profile. If you want your MLS listings on the platform, you don't have to do anything. The minute they go to MLS, they're on BrokerBay, okay? So your off-market properties hand into your office, and they will get added to the platform. We have some of our big brokerage clients, 200, 300, 500 agents, that are sharing more than 50% of their MLS listings as a team, 1, 2 days before going to market, a week before going to market. Imagine all of you, if you handed your MLS listing paperwork in a day or two before you went to the MLS, if you could all share that as a team, that you're coming out with this listing. So I'm sure you have processes in place to tell your teammates that you have a new listing coming out, but the new process now, so that everyone can get benefit, is just hand your paperwork in early, or hand your exclusive paperwork in so that your teammates find out about these great new listings before they come to MLS. Does everyone understand that? Great. Okay, so we centralize all of your listings on market and off market. We share all of your open houses automatically. So if you ever want to see the upcoming open houses in the brokerage, they're automatically added to the open houses section here. Can someone please just yell out to me how we properly advertise our open houses on Realty.ca? I'm not leaving until you tell me. You guys know, but does everyone else know? Who here does not know about Manage My Profile? Manage My Profile is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's hidden away, and once you find where it is, you have to log into another screen. And I've been an agent for 12 years, and I've only known about it for 4. So that means for the first 8 years of my career, I wasn't advertising my open houses properly. The public was not finding out about it. Please become familiar with Manage My Profile. It's the only way to successfully advertise your open houses to the public on Realty.ca. The reason I tell you this is because the open houses that you see here come from both Manage My Profile and from TREB. The reason TREB only offers one date is because it's only for agent open houses, if you didn't know that. So if you like writing Saturday/Sunday 2 to 4 in the notes, that goes nowhere. It's a waste of everyone's time. Add it to Manage My Profile, add it to the one date on TREB. Great, and it'll show up here. The next section I want to tell you about is called haves and wants. If you have a piece of ambiguous information that you want to share with your colleagues, you can now add it to the haves and wants section. So things like, I am looking for a service provider. I need help with my open house. I'm looking for this type of property. If you want to share that information with your colleagues, sign up to the platform, come to haves and wants. You can click add and say I want something, and I want a short-term lease, blah, 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 save, and this will get shared with everyone in the brokerage, so maybe someone has something for you that they can help you with. Does that make sense? Great. Okay. So, again, high level, BrokerBay is the new internal MLS for all of the information. But the problem with you agents, and I know this because I'm an agent, is you're rarely ever going to log into the platform. So you're rarely ever going to see this information. So the way that you now are going to get benefit from this information is by going to the top right corner of the platform and clicking notifications. So we want you to only find out about the information that is relevant to your business. So the way you do that is you come into the notification section. You can now select, I only care about freehold and condo listings for my brokerage. So I want the system to automatically send those to me. But I don't care about every commercial or lease listing that we get. And you know what? I only want information from our Markham office because those guys at Richmond Hill, I don't like them. So turn that on. Other way around. Forget the Markham guys. And maybe if there's certain types of information that are increasingly relevant to you, you can choose to get them instantly. So whenever there's a new exclusive that's freehold or condo, send it to me the minute we get the paperwork. Or maybe, you know what, I don't care about all these instant updates, I don't care about exclusives or price changes or this, turn them all off. But at the end of the day, in one email, send me all today's new listings in one email, so that I'm not bombarded for the day. Or maybe I'm on vacation, turn everything off and I'll resubscribe. So it's up to you what you want to get, when you want to get it, if you want to get it whatsoever, okay? So please curate your messages. All right, here's what, if you guys aren't excited enough, here's what things are exciting. So, everything we've talked about so far has been regarding the information within our brokerage. But now I'm going to actually show you how to access extremely valuable information from other brokerages. And it's called the BrokerBay Exclusive Network. When you click it, you are taken to the largest database of bona fide off-market properties in Ontario. These are all exclusive listings, assignment listings, or coming soon to MLS listings that are not being shared publicly. BrokerBay only sells our system to the best and largest full-service brokerages in Ontario. If you ever want to get an idea as to which brokerages are a part of BrokerBay, please come to brokerbay.ca. And the thing to understand is, it's not that we don't sell our system to discount brokerages. We will sell to any brokerage. But the way we've structured our business is that from a pricing standpoint and an implementation standpoint, we are only relevant to full-service brokerages. So know that you are part of a very exclusive community now that is sharing very valuable off-market properties. The reason our network is different than Craigslist or Kijiji or ICI World is because at every single one of these listings that you see here, right now there's 510, in order for them to get to the BrokerBay exclusive network, an agent had to take their paperwork and hand it into their office, because that's the only way a listing gets here. So because of that, we know that each one of these listings is a bona fide exclusive listing that is offering a competitive cooperating commission. all right? That's the key here. They're offering a competitive cooperating commission because the number one rule of the BrokerBay network is you must offer a competitive cooperating commission if you share on the network, all right? So there's no mere postings, there's no discounted commission rates. If you want to post your listings here, you must offer the magic number. I can't tell you what it is. I know you know what it is, and it's that number. If you offer that number, you can post your listing. All right.
What
So-
if you're like a quarter point shot?
So there's a couple of other rules of our network. So yes, you have to offer a competitive cooperating commission, and you are never to share these listings publicly. You are only ever to share them directly with clients that you believe have an interest in these listings. The reason being, if someone has a client that is posting their assignment sale here, and the builder has said no one is to advertise assignment sales for this building, if you were to advertise that listing, you're creating real liability for that seller and their agent. We will kick you off the platform first time. So I'm making that clear from now. So you are only to share these listings with bona fide buyer clients. You're not to advertise them trying to attract buyers. So the way you share listings is simple. You click on them, and you share the listing by pressing this send button here, and you can send this directly to your client. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, with that said, yes, it's kind of cool. We have a bunch of listings. It's private. They're very valuable. But who cares about exclusive listings? Nobody wants exclusive listings. Yes?
Question for you. So what happens if someone violates the exclusive listing?
We've kicked off 2 brokerages from our platform.
Yes, but then with the repercussions of, say, the listing agents. So, for example, we have a tried out assignment.
Sure.
They don't let you market on anything.
Sure.
And we put it on BrokerBay, but then once someone sends it out that we can't control, now we're on the hook on breaching our listing agreement at the same time.
Correct. Regardless of how private our network is, there's always going to be inherent risk with advertising things that you shouldn't be. With that said, we do offer a fairly controlled environment to promote your sensitive sales, like assignment sales. With that said, if you ever need to take your listing off the platform, we don't record any history of that listing ever being there. We do not share any data with builders, and we do not share any data about our clients with anyone whatsoever. And we get calls all the time from builders. So we do our best. Please do your best, and we'll keep this a very nice, exclusive community to operate within.
What's the difference with the ICI world?
ICI World, anybody can go and post their listing. Here, you have to have an agreement to post your listing.
Okay. So what the benefits with the ICI?
Well, these are real listings. Yeah, these listings have agreements. ICI World, I can post, I have a $100 million property in New Brunswick, but no one actually knows if that's actually a real listing.
Costas, what if we don't put a unit number for like assignment?
We're actually coming up with a new feature where you're gonna have to put the unit number, but we'll obscure it so they don't actually know the unit number.
Got it.
Yeah. So we're coming up with some new things for that as well. Okay, like I was saying, who cares about exclusives, assignments? We don't want exclusives, we don't want assignments, we want MLS listings. So this is the real purpose of the exclusive network, is to get you more MLS listings. How? When you go and present to your prospective sellers, so you walk into your presentation, you can now say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when you list with me, a full-service RE/MAX Excel agent, because of my professional networks, because I'm a professional agent, before I even post your property on the public MLS system, which I will, I'm going to effectively pre-market your property as an MLS coming soon listing, and I'm going to share it with 17,000 of the best agents in Ontario to get feedback on price, or if there's any interest on your property, before I can bring you to the MLS. And this is something that my discount competitors, like Right at Home or Purple Brick or whomever, cannot do for your listing. So that's why you use a professional full-service agent. This is one example. For buyers, it's a no-brainer. Who here has found it increasingly difficult to sign buyer agency agreements 1, 2, 3 months in advance of actually doing a deal? You all have, period. So what everyone's doing now is you're including your first buyer agency agreement underneath your first offer as one document, and you're getting it signed, and that's your first buyer agency agreement, typically, correct? The reason that has become like this is because your buyers have all of the same information that you do. They have the price per square foot from condos.ca. They have all the sold prices from all the val feeds now that are being offered to all the different brokerages. They have all the listings on Realty.ca. They have everything you have. Not anymore. You now have access to inventory that your clients do not have access to. You now have access to inventory that your competitors do not have access to. So even if there's not a property that is relevant to one of your buyers on the network currently, by simply creating the fear that they will miss out on an opportunity that only you will find out about is an increased reason for them to sign a buyer agency with you. So use this and leverage this with both your buyers and your sellers to get the agreements signed. These are just two ways. There's many creative ways to insert the exclusive network in your conversations with clients to get the deal signed. That's all we care about. Any questions about the network?
Can I go back a little bit?
Sure.
Two things. The first thing, you said the seller or ourselves can accept or deny the
We're going to get
showing request.
we're going to get in detail about the appointments in 2 minutes.
Okay. And the second question is regarding to the open house. You said your automatic trigger from the MLS.
Yes.
But the MLS we only put 1 day. So how are you going to do this?
Manage my profile. So there's two ways.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. So I still have to go to the profile.
So there's two ways. If you want both open houses, then the morning of the second open house, you have to change the date and we'll pick up the second open house. Or you go to realty.ca, so manage my profile, and you can have as many open houses as you want.
Yes.
Yes.
So the BrokerBay
Open
will
both.
trigger both?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, our exclusive network just works like any other major MLS system. You can zoom into neighborhoods. You can use our Polygon tool to say, I like listings in this neighborhood and this neighborhood. And I like it over here too a bit. And I'm going to save a search and say it's my favorite search. And by doing that, I've now created auto prospecting for myself to find out instantly when there's new exclusives that meet these criteria in these neighborhoods. So please come in and curate your messages so that you get the exact types of listings that are relevant to you. Yes?
You know the needs of the want and then even this, is it just one email a day that notifies you of everything, or it'll be throughout the day?
Haves and wants is 3 times a day, and it's only from your brokerage. We do not share haves and wants between brokerages yet because it's very spammy because it's not verified information, whereas the listings are verified listings. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so now we're going to log in to our fake account here, and we're going to pretend that we have this great new listing that we just broker loaded to the MLS, and as soon as we broker loaded it to the MLS, it's instantly on BrokerBay because we pull the listings automatically. But before we start taking appointments on this new listing, we want to tell the system how we take appointments. Now, you don't have to remember any of this. Your office will do this for you, correct? Just need to make sure. Your office, you know the appointment worksheet that you have? Whenever you get a listing, you still have an appointment worksheet. All you have to do is fill that out and your office will do this for you. But if you want to get involved like I like to get involved, it's very easy to do so. As the listing agent of this listing, because I'm the listing agent, I see a suite of tools, appointments, offers, feedback, attachments, message co-ops, etc. I want to program this listing to have appointments happen a certain way. Where do you think I would go? Very good. And I'm going to click appointments and I'm going to configure appointments. And you're met with the appointment configuration that your administrators will typically be filling out. But I'm going to show you now how you can very easily make a change if you want to without having to call anybody. So, there's a lot of buttons and switches and checkboxes and it looks intimidating, but it's very simple. Appointment notice, 9. What do you think that means? 9 hours. If I put the number 9 there, instantly on the MLS, people will have to give us 9 hours notice when booking appointments. Your answering service will have to give us 9 hours notice. Internally, you're going to get 9 hours notice. It reflects everywhere. Maximum duration, 30 minutes. That means appointments cannot be booked that are longer than 30 minutes, and it reflects everywhere instantly. Allow double bookings. This will allow people to book appointments at the same time. If I turn that off, people will not. You get the idea. Turn off lights, remove shoes, leave card, lock doors, knock first, call later, canceling. By checking off these details, this will be included in the confirmation that will be automatically sent to the showing agent. Okay, let's keep going. The lockbox for this property, we're going to select lockbox. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's behind the stairs. The alarm is 1111. Other instructions: beware of scary dog. These details will automatically go to the showing agent when their appointment gets confirmed. Okay, now, and again, don't get overwhelmed. You don't need to do any of this. Great. So, regardless of how automated any software can be, we're always going to have old school sellers from time to time that will want a phone call. Okay? So for those old school sellers, nothing changes. We can still write in our configuration, call seller for all appointments, which our administrators are going to read when they need to confirm. But now let's have a look as we scroll down at your seller's profile, which we just added. And so her name is Mary Johnson. Her email is costa+seller@brokerbay.ca. We're going to send her emails when something is booked, confirmed, canceled, denied, or time change. Easy peasy. We're going to have her cell phone number, and we can choose to also send her text messages. So this seller is going to get text messages and emails whenever something is booked, confirmed, canceled, denied, or time change. But this seller also wanted a phone call. So we're also going to check off must call. And this will ask your administrators to call that seller. Easy. Where things get very different now, remember the green and red button, accept or deny? For each individual listing contact, we can now give them permissions. We can give this seller permission to confirm. We turn it on, she'll get the green button. If we give her permission to deny, she'll get the red button. If we turn deny off, she will lose the red button and she'll only have the green button. If we turn both of them off, she will have no buttons and she'll just see the details of the appointment. Does that make sense? All right, so let's go through what that looks like now. So I'm going to save this, and our seller also told us that they don't want appointments on Sundays and on Wednesdays from 8 to 10. There's a good-looking yoga instructor going over to her house, so she doesn't want people there. And save. All right, so we just configured your listing. It's ready for appointments. Your administrator might have done it, you might have done it, or one of you may have changed something. It's simple. Let's book our first appointment. So, I'm your administrator, and a very old school agent calls the front desk and they say, I'd like to book an appointment. I pick up the phone and I help that agent out, so I book the appointment. It's for Costa. Okay, and I ask Costa, would you like your confirmation by email? He says yes. The reason BrokerBay can safely send confirmations by email is because we actually have a live feed with every board in Ontario that receives the updated data of agent profiles daily. So we always have a changing database of the most up-to-date profiles of agents. We also have 18,000 agents who are clients of BrokerBay that we have their verified information that we've included in this database. And we're the first third-party company in Canada to sign an agreement with the Canadian Real Estate Association. Long story short, CREA has given us access to RealtorLink to help us verify agent profiles when they're not already verified in our system. In practice, what that means is, if a criminal tries to book an appointment on your listing and their information is not verified in our system, before they can view the details of that confirmation, they have to log into RealtorLink. Does that make sense? Okay. So, let's keep going. We're going to book Costa's appointment for July 26th, 8:15, and as soon as I press book appointment, something not so exciting just happened. It's very boring, actually. That appointment, just like Mold Connect or just like Quick Office, went into the queue of appointments that need to get processed for your brokerage. Does that sound, you guys know what that means? So your administrators, they're managing this queue, and the appointment that just got booked at 11 p.m. on your listing, guess where it went? It went to the bottom of your queue. It's at the bottom. And let's say it's the middle of the spring market, there might be 10, 20, 30 appointments in your queue, and it's going to take your administrators a while for them to actually process that appointment. Or maybe it's too late for your answering service to call the seller. And that appointment now is going to be sitting in your queue, and the buyers will not know they can enter your property. Kind of sucks. As your administrators are dealing with all these much more important appointments, or maybe the office is closed, both you and your sellers, maybe you got an email, maybe you got a text message, and I'll give you a sneak peek of the text message of the email. I'll just come in here. And so your seller got an email that looks like this. Remember the green and red button? So right within their email, they get a green and a red button that says accept and deny. Very simple. They don't have to open up their anything. It's just right in the email. We've included two buttons, accept or deny. Red and green, just two buttons. If your seller has a thumb, which all of your sellers have thumbs, and if your seller, right within the email, if they just press accept. So I just touched it in my email, and you're going to notice that on the right side, let this load here quickly. Sorry, the internet's a little slow for me right now. see how it disappeared from the queue? So all your seller had to do was press accept. Our system automatically generated a confirmation, delivered it to the showing agent, and the showing agent will ensure that they actually get the confirmation. So we'll guarantee that it gets there, and we're the only company that does that. So moving forward, you and your sellers now, you can just press accept if you want to. But if you or your seller don't press accept, you don't have to worry because it stays in the queue and your administrators will see that they need to process it, right? So moving forward, feel free to press accept if you know you should be. Your sellers can press accept and confirmations will just fly into the queue. Any questions about that? Yes.
So sometimes in seller, they want options to show the property. Like if I'm home, I just open the door, or I have lockbox, and they know that we can use the box. So you just press accept,
Yes.
so there will be no choice. Like what will be delivered?
We never want to give the seller the ability to start customizing things because sellers get a little out of control sometimes. But as a listing agent, that suggestion that you have are actually coming out within 3 weeks. So when the listing agent presses accept, if you want to say go direct instead of lockbox, you'll be able to make that selection.
Yeah, I think that would be more because it's for security reason, right? If the sellers are so I don't have to release a lockbox number,
Sure,
right?
sure. Another thing we're going to talk about security-wise is we just struck a deal with an electronic lockbox company, which we're going to be announcing soon. So for any of you who want to start using really fancy electronic lockboxes, that the appointment's only good for like 2 hours, the lockbox code, I'm going to talk about that at the very end. But great suggestion, and it's something that we can definitely...
And but for now,
Yes.
at the time being, if we just press accept, so what confirmation would be like
Correct.
go direct or lockbox? If there's
Whatever you put in the configuration.
okay, and
If you have a very weird situation where there's many options, I would take the accept and deny button away and maybe give the seller a call.
okay. And the second thing is, I don't know if that deal with the office because when I went into the BrokerBay configuration, I don't see all those options. I don't see that page at all.
It's there. I promise you.
So it's not the admin, like the office have to do anything to give us the
Come see me afterwards and we'll go through one of your listings and I'll show you exactly where it is. Any other questions? Yes.
You said that the seller and the agent have the choice to accept or
Deny.
deny.
Yeah.
So is it either one of them will do that, or do you say?
Either one. You should only be accepting as the listing agent if you know you should be accepting. If it's your seller supposed to be accepting, don't touch the button as the listing agent. Unless it's LA confirmed, for instance.
So you have to know beforehand if the seller is going to be the one to decide whether they want.
And typically you do. So when you get the listing, like the seller advises, like, I want to know every time an appointment's booked, and I'll confirm it. And as part of your showing instructions, you would advise everyone to, that's how listings will be processed.
So if the seller is the one who is confirming the appointment, then you just get a notification that's
Correct. You're still being notified the entire time.
you
And if
wouldn't
you're
have to worry about
exactly,
this.
exactly. Unless you know you should be, then you can press it. Yes.
If it was auto confirmed, you just turn on both?
It automatically comes up.
Oh.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. Okay. Let's say your seller wakes up the next day. Oh yes.
Is there a record of who
There's a
accepted
full
it?
audit trail of everything that happens. Who did it, when they did it, why they did it, etc. Let's say your seller wakes up the next day and they want to cancel the appointment. How do they use to cancel appointments? They wake up, they call you, or they call your office and they cancel the appointment. Based on the permissions we give them now, they can come into their dashboard, press cancel, select a reason, and they can say directly to the showing agent, please book for another time. They can identify the time before or after that they want the showing agent to book for. This will go direct. They can say book for another day. This will go directly to the showing agent. Or if your seller, if you have a very talkative seller and they want to say something, they can say something. And they can say, my house exploded. I'll take 500K less. Do you want this message going to the showing agent? No. So know that if your seller goes off the rails and tries to say something that is not a default option, and they press cancel, you see that pop back up in the queue? So now, before this actually goes to the showing agent, your administrators will see it in the queue, and they'll see that the seller says, my house exploded, I'll take 500K less, at which point your trained staff would write, not such a good time. And that's going to go instead of that ridiculous message. So know that we'll automate as much of the process as is safe, but when we need to set human eyes to look at that appointment or that action, it stops and your administrators review it and finish the action. Yes.
So that's the, cancel.
And denied. Yes. Okay, so let's talk about now this process again. So we've been talking about sellers or listing agents accepting or denying. But what about for vacant properties or properties where we know we can just release the lockbox? It gets a lot more exciting. And I know I'm the most excited person in Toronto about appointments, but... All right, so can someone tell me how to go back to the configuration level, the appointment configuration? Where do I go? And then where do I go? Easy peasy. And because the seller now has moved out of the house, I'm going to put vacant, release lockbox. And instead of just typing it there, I can turn on a feature that's called auto-confirm. And it warns me, by enabling auto-confirm, confirmation instructions will be automatically sent to the showing agent. What that means is, the second someone goes on Trev to book an appointment, they instantly get the confirmation. The second someone calls your office to book an appointment, they instantly get the confirmation. It's fully automated when you turn that button on. What's cool about this now is, you can have a new conversation with your sellers. You can now tell them, if I give you 9 hours notice, I only allow 30-minute appointments. I don't allow appointments on Sundays or after 8 p.m. Can I confirm appointments on your house? If they say yes, you can now program those parameters into your listing, turn on auto-confirm, and now you have fully automated appointments, knowing that buyers will only be able to book during the times that they're supposed to. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay. So, I'm now going to click on a page that's called My Business. My Business will show you all of your active listings and any actions that are required on any of your listings. So if there are any outstanding appointments or if you're missing configuration instructions, it'll tell you here. But what I want to do right now is I want to pull an appointment report for my one listing. So I'm going to click on this listing, and when I'm going to go to appointments, and I can see all of the appointments on my property. If I need to confirm or deny or cancel any of them, I can do that from my dashboard. But I want to print a report. So at the top of the screen, there's a little tiny download button. And when you click it, it'll say print PDF. And I can now print a nice appointment report of all the appointments on this property. If I maybe don't want to include some items on this report, so say for instance, I don't want to include the feedback that has been left on some of my appointments, at the top of this report, I can remove showing feedback. Or maybe I also want to remove the contact information for the co-op agent. So I can check off co-op agent information. So I can now customize this report and print off a very nicely formatted report on the appointments that have happened on this listing. Yes?
Why don't we automate instead of calling the listing company to book an appointment, why don't we just automate it?
What is
So
that?
I go to the listing and say, make an appointment.
We have that now. Did you guys have online appointments before? Yeah. You still have online appointments, and I'll show you what that looks like. Is that what you're talking about, booking online?
Yeah.
It's very nice now to do it. I'll show you. Okay, so let's keep going.
What is the status column?
Pardon?
The previous pages now?
The status column was the status of that appointment. It might have been canceled, it might have been confirmed, yeah. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about now, is everyone comfortable with the appointment process now, how it works, accept, deny, auto-confirm, things of that nature? Everyone feels good?
Yes. Can you extract from the agent email?
What do you mean?
Like in a CSV file?
Yeah, so you can do this. So instead of printing to PDF, if you want to download CSV,
Okay.
it'll give you a column, and one of the columns is their email.
But are they separated out so that like it's a separate row or separate column?
Because you want to email to them very quickly. We have a very easy way to do that. I'll show you how to do it through our system. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about now is the next most important part of this process. In the same way that you need to configure how you want your appointments to happen, you also have to configure how you want your offer instructions to occur. So your offer registration process. As part of your new appointment worksheet, you now tell your office regarding offer registration on your listings. So instead of going to the appointments tab, I'm now going to go to the offers tab. And let's see how this works. Offer registration in the GTA has been a disaster for the last 6 years. Do I need a Formula 1? Do I just need the offer? Do I have to notify everybody? Do I just have to notify the people that have offers? X, Y, or Z, and it's just been a very spaghetti string mess. Moving forward, you can come to your offer section of your property, go to offer settings, and you can now tell the system, Are offers accepted any time, or is there an offer date? When is the date? What is the time of the presentation? Are we accepting preemptive offers? What is the minimum irrevocable? Any other instructions? The submission method for offers on this property is in person at the property or by email to costa@brokerbay.ca. When you fill this information out, it goes to the MLS. It also goes to your front desk so that everyone, when they call your office or if they're looking to book an appointment online, they have the information right in front of them as they're booking their appointment. Very simple. So I'm just going to the MLS now. And I'm going to show you what the the showing agent experiences when they book an appointment on your property. So let's grab a listing here. All right. In the past, when a showing agent used to come to your listings and when they used to click online appointment, it brought them to this page that was built in the 1980s with like 30,000 checkboxes. And it was a very weird experience. And they'd book the appointment, and then they'd sit there and they'd wonder, did this even get booked? So then they'd wake up the next day and they'd call your office and they'd book it again, as we've all done a million times, right? Moving forward, when an agent now clicks online appointment on your listing, it brings them to the BrokerBay booking page, and it's a much sexier experience, let me tell you. As they're booking their appointment now, they can see the important dates on this listing, on your listing. So they can see that in bright blue, there's an open house from 2 to 4. So they know when they're booking during an open house. For instance, if this property had an offer date, the offer date would be in bright orange, and the offer presentation time would be in the time selector. So they know when the offer is being presented as they're booking their appointment. But we're actually making it much more in-depth as to what I'm just showing you. So this is no longer just about appointments. The showing agent has other tools. Okay. Do you remember how I said when a seller gets a communication, whenever they press any button, it brings them to their dashboard? When a co-op agent gets any communication from BrokerBay and they press any button, it always brings them back to their dashboard. So right within the confirmation that they get, if they want to press view listing, they can now just open up and view the listing that's for this property as they're in the property, very easily. If they want to book another appointment from their mobile device, they can now easily do that.
But it only happens when the co-op broker has BrokerBay.
No, anybody. So the co-op agents can engage with this part of our website, regardless of which broker do it. And now we're the first company ever to bring the offer registration process online. As the agents book their appointments, they can now see that there are currently 0 offers registered on this property and offers are accepted at any time. And if they are ready to register their offer, yes, they can call your office, yes, they can call you, or they can attach their Form 801 and register the offer themselves for the first time ever in the GTA. Much simpler. And as soon as they register their offer on your listing, everyone who has seen your property or has booked an appointment on your property will be notified if you want them to be. And I'll show you how to set that up. So I'm going to get off the MLS now, and I'm going to go back to the offer settings on our listing. Yes?
When you say you can put automatically information about like offer presentation, what time is it, whatever, and it will show on MLS automatically, right?
Yes.
So in the future, we fill this out with on our data sheet. There is a like.
Always put it in my brokerage remarks on the listing and put it in the offer settings. Yes. Because some people that aren't booking an appointment online still want to see it in the offer in the brokerage remarks. Okay, so we're back on the offer settings, and I'm going to scroll down, and we're now going to configure the automated offer notification settings on our listing. And we can now tell the system that whenever an offer is registered on my listing, I want all agents to automatically find out about it, and I want the message to say, new registered offer, please be advised that an offer has been registered on 123 Excel Street. And underneath that, I want every agent who's booked an appointment on my property to know that offers are being accepted at 8 p.m. on the 24th. So you can now customize the offer message for each one of your listings whenever an offer is registered. Not only that, you can add attachments. So if you want to attach your Schedule B, which agents scramble to get before making an offer, or your status certificate link, or a feature sheet, or a Form 801, whatever it is that you want to customize this message with, you can now do that. And whenever an offer is registered, this group of people will get that message. Okay, next. You can choose that either all agents get that message, or maybe you just want agents with registered offers to automatically be notified about any new registered offers. Because maybe you're trying to be a bit more strategic in how you notify everybody. Or maybe you're a very particular agent, and this is a very sensitive listing. You do not want any automation. You can turn off all the automated offer notifications, and you can then choose to manually notify people regarding offers. Does that make sense? So you choose who you want to go to and what you want to say, and that will go to everybody on this one listing. When people call your office to register an offer,
Sorry, all agents meaning that all agents have seen.
have both.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
And each agent can unsubscribe from those emails if they want to.
Okay.
If someone calls your office to register an offer, your administrators have a very easy process. They come to your listing, they press register offer, they search for the agent. They can now ask the agent over the phone, can you give me your Form 801 so I can attach it to the offer? Whatever your process is, it can now be attached to the actual registration. As soon as your administration presses register, a lot happens. You as the listing agent were just notified with all of the details of the showing agent, the total number of offers, a copy of their Form 801 if it was submitted. Everyone who has seen the property automatically got notified with that custom message that we created, and you're done. Every offer that has now been registered on this property is saved here forever in order of who registered first, which administrator registered it at which date and time, if the Form 801 was submitted. If you click the eyeball tool on any of these offers, you can also see the message that went out to all the agents when that offer was registered, and you can also see an email delivery log of who got it, who opened it, when they got it, if it failed, etc. So you now have a full audit trail and logging system for everything to do with your offers. Does that make sense? All right. It's a shame we're showing you this now because in a month from now we're actually redoing the entire section, but it's just to get better. It's going to be very familiar, but all right. Even if an agent calls you and says, I'm not coming forward anymore, you can manage that offer, delete, and it asks you, would you like to notify all of the agents regarding the change in the number of offers? Yes. Everyone just got notified that there's now one less offer on this property. So it's very easy to notify people when you want to notify them. Okay.
Are you able to print that log?
This is not printable. We probably should make it printable. Let's save some paper. All right. Everyone's comfortable with the offer stuff? Any questions about offers before I continue? All right, let's talk about feedback. BrokerBay automatically collects feedback on your listings after the appointment is finished. We send showing agents a message 1 hour after their appointment. If they don't fill the feedback form out, we send it again 9 a.m. the next day. The cool thing about this now is you have the ability to customize this process. So can someone tell me how to customize feedback? Where do I go?
Feedback?
Amazing. And then where do I go?
Feedback settings.
Feedback settings. Where I can now customize the questions that I want the agent to fill out on this property. So maybe I don't like this question that I'm asking. So I'm going to delete that question, and I want the comment question to come to the top. And I want a drop down as well, and I want it to be the question to be, do you love my listing? And I want the answers to be blank, yes, of course. And I'm going to add that question, and I'm going to bring that second underneath. You get the idea. You can now customize the questionnaire for each one of your properties to ask more relevant questions. We will by default have a generic form that will be sent for all of your listings, but you can now customize it per listing if you want to tweak it or change it. Not only can you customize the questions, you can also customize the initial email that gets sent out asking them for feedback. So by default, it'll read, hi Costa, thank you for showing 123 Excel Street on June 19th, 2019. There'll be some other text as well, but you can now say whatever you want underneath that. You could say, listen, buddy, you better give me feedback. And that's now what's going to go every time someone has a completed appointment on your listing. And there'll be a beautiful feedback link with a thumbnail. They click it, and it's going to take them to their custom form that you've created for this one property. Does that make sense? Awesome. All right. For those of you who like to call people for feedback, has anyone ever called people for feedback ever? It's very easy now to capture that feedback and associate it with that appointment. So I'm going to go to, let's just go to a real listing for a sec. This is not relevant. Not relevant. Okay. When you have a listing that you haven't gotten feedback on one appointment that you really want feedback on, and you want to call the person, when you're in the appointments section of your listing, you can click send reminder. This will send that email, so hopefully they fill it out. If they don't fill it out, you can also call them. Their cell phone number is right here, and you can just click the missing feedback button, and over the phone now, you can capture the details of the feedback that they're providing and fill it out yourself on their appointment, so that when you print your appointment report, their feedback is attached to their name, and it's there forever. Does that make sense? Easy peasy. Now, someone asked a question about how do we send an email to agents on our listing. If you want to send a message to everyone who's seen your property, it's super easy now. All you got to do is press message co-ops, and a list of everyone who's booked an appointment on your property is going to show up. And you know what? I don't like this agent. We're going to remove him from this message, and I'm going to say price change. 123 Excel Street. New price, blah, 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 send. Easy. Or maybe, let's say, here's another example. This is a very good example. Let's say this listing was sold, and it had 100 appointments on it, it had like 30 offers, and then 3 months down the road, you get another property on the same street as this property, and you want to message all the people who saw your old listing. You can now come into your old listing and email everyone about your new listing. So it's a very easy way to find and send messages to people that you've dealt with in the past on your listings. Does that make sense? Okay.
Do non-represented agents come up here as well?
You cannot, we do not practice a CRM currently. You cannot add buyer profiles on our system. In the future, you will be able to.
So who's confirming the appointments for non-represented buyers?
What do you mean who's confirming that?
So we have BrokerBay, so we had showing the listing last week, and there's a lot of non-represented buyers.
So just buyers calling you? Well, were you booking the appointments under your own name?
I think there's a lot coming in the BrokerBay. So
as custom contacts?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, you can add them as a custom contact, and they'll get email. But custom contacts are typically only for agents. And what I've seen in the past is, obviously, unrepresented buyers going through, you're taking the property, are you not?
Yeah.
So then you would book the appointment under your own name. But yeah, we don't have a section to save buyer profiles to communicate with them. Something we should do, and we will do. Okay, 5 more minutes, guys, and we're done. One of the last things I want to show you now is one of my favorite tools on the platform, and it's this little button right here. Who here has heard the term group page? I got a page from my office. Where does the word page come from? Who here has a pager right now? Nobody. Let's not call it pages anymore. These are now notifications, they're messages, they're office messages, whatever you want to call it, no more pages. And this is the new way that your office is sending you messages, and it's easy. It's the new way that you can send your office messages. It's the new way you can send each other messages. It's very simple. It works like any modern chat system. When you open it, you'll get a directory of every person in the organization. You can type their name, there's Costa, and you can say, please call Frank. So let's say our administrator just messaged us, please call Frank. I, as the agent, may have gotten that by text message or by email, depending on my preferences. Unlike Wolf Connect, all of our text messages come from the same number. So it's all going to be one thread of text messages. We don't have a million phone numbers messaging. And okay, but let's have a look at our email. Sorry, my phone's getting a little slow today. All right, so as this is loading, I'll keep talking other things. So my office just messaged me, I'm an agent, and it's saying, please call Frank. It's a very simple message. The big difference now is it's so easy for you to say something back. So right within the email now, without having to open up an app or open up the internet, you can just reply by email and say, what the heck is his number? And I'm just replying by email. That message goes to the BrokerBay mail server, it gets converted, and it shows back up in the chat for your administrators. So now it's a very efficient two-way communication. If the administrator who messaged you that message has left for the day, this entire conversation will go back to everyone at that front desk, and someone else will service you. Does that make sense? Great. So feel free now to communicate back to your front desk. All right, so you guys have been here for a long time. I can talk for several more hours. Here's where we're going to leave it up. BrokerBay has only been doing front desk for 12 months, and we are exponentially more advanced than any system in North America for office appointment management. I'm not saying that to brag. Why I'm saying that is in the next 12 months, there's going to be an exponential increase in the amount of features, advancements, efficiencies that we're going to add to the platform. So become a bit familiar with the system now, because it's going to make it a lot easier to understand how it works in 12 months from now as we add new modules and features and how they interconnect. So thank you for your time today. Keep in mind, we are a new company. Although we have every major brokerage in the city now, we're still going to run into problems. You're still going to see things you don't like. There's going to be bugs, and it's going to be great. Don't worry about it. Tell your office. They'll communicate it to us, and we fix it instantly. So we'd love your feedback. If you ever want to see new features or the ability, I'm not sure who said it, to change the confirmation before it goes to the agent, things of this nature, tell us, and we will improve the system as we do every single week and month, etc. So thank you for your time, everybody. I hope you enjoy our day.